Hey guys, Charles here with Jimmy. Welcome back for another episode of e-commerce marketing chats. Jimmy, how's it going, mate?
Yeah, all's good, mate. But I'm more here interested to hear what's happening on your end, having just been to the ecom conference you have in Singapore. I'm sure you've got some great intakes from there. But yeah, everything on my side is going well. I've had a few wins with clients this week. We've had a website launch which has gone really well. When I say really well, at the moment, just over like the last 3 days of data, their conversion rate's gone from about 4.5 to 6.5, which is
Wow,
quite
nice.
significant. So that's been good. Hopefully, we can keep that up. There's still a lot more things that we need to implement, but yeah, the name of the game is keep implementing, keep taking steps, keep growing. So hopefully, we can share a bit of those insights today as well. As I've kind of heard briefly about what you did in or what you learned in Singapore, but I'm keen to go a bit deeper into it and what the keynote speakers were talking about, what kind of things you learned on different platforms or what you found interesting. I think others would find that interesting too, because to be honest, I doubt a lot of people listening to this have even been to an e-commerce conference, and those that have probably don't know what to expect or whether it's valuable or not. Actually, I was surprised you said it was a free one. I didn't realize that. Most of the ones I've gone to have been quite expensive. So it's awesome to know that there's things out there like that for e-commerce. In saying that, because it was free, was there a lot of like pitching at the end of presentations and things like that, or how did you find
Th-
it?
No, there wasn't, surprisingly. It was almost like, if you want to speak to the speaker at the end, you can do, and they would kind of stick around. So anyone that wanted to speak to them, but there was no, that was the one thing that I kind of appreciated was there wasn't too much overselling. I don't know whether that's just an American thing, which,
Potentially.
yeah, and there was the odd speech which, you know, half of it felt like a sales pitch, um, but equally they were still showcasing what they were doing for their clients. But yeah, it was interesting. I mean, first off, I'm very impressed by Singapore as as a little country in general. I'd never been to Singapore before, and everything was just the country just runs so smoothly. Even everything from the how incredible the airport is. Like there's all sorts of attractions in the airport. If you
Oh,
haven't got a
from
chance to go, yeah,
From
it's
the videos I've seen, the airport looks amazing, and from what you're saying, I'm guessing everything else lives up to what I've seen in the movies, Crazy Rich Asians.
yeah. I haven't watched that film, but I've heard good.
Oh,
I've heard
you
good
got to
things
watch it.
about it.
It's
Yeah,
a good laugh. Yeah, watch it with your
yeah.
missus. It's kind of a movie you can watch with your partner. So yeah, no,
Nice.
it's a good little one. Yeah, go watch it. I think you'll get some laughs from it, especially now having both been to Singapore. I think you'll probably appreciate a few more of the things in that movie too.
Yeah, but no, it was really, like I said, everything was, it's immaculately clean. Everything runs kind of perfectly. So yeah, if you haven't been, worth going. Although it's certainly not a place you'd go on a budget. Given the fact that I mean, maybe because I live in Malaysia, I'm maybe used to a cheaper cost of living now versus when I used to live in the UK. But yeah, it was a bit of a shock on that front. So yeah, be willing to spend a little bit if you're going to
Yeah,
go on holiday or a
Lu-
conference there.
lucky you're an SEO baller, mate, and can get through those struggles. So, but yeah, no,
But yeah,
let's talk about some of the presentations you went to. It was probably a wide range, wasn't it, Charles? Because you said it wasn't just ecom this conference. There was AI technology and different things as well. So, what are some kind of takeaways, kind of
yeah.
specific to the ecom world that you found interesting?
Yeah, so the conference in general was for they call it Tech Week, so it was ecom, AI, cloud. There was all sorts of effectively like individual expos in one big conference room. But obviously, I was positioned in the e-commerce section. There was like Shopify kind of started off the talk, And really, it was mainly talking about the Southeast Asian market and how there's going to be a lot more adoption already, but it's still actually quite underdeveloped versus Western countries, which I found quite interesting. And, they were talking about how they did a study, like an independent study recently, and they found that really consumers were looking first and foremost for value for money, or like real quality products. So anything that added value, whether it's saving costs on things because they were worried about, inflation, cost of living. It seems to be an issue kind of across the world, not just in, Western countries. So that was kind of an interesting takeaway. And also they mentioned about demand for being omnipresent on kind of multiple different kind of platforms, different marketing channels, not just focusing on kind of one area, versus whether it's making sure that you've got your ad set up as well as your organic social media.
For the omnipresence, like, did they have any advice on like software they were using to make it easier to show up on multiple places at once, or are they saying the team needs to basically create individual content for each platform? Like, what was the kind of insights into actually being omnipresent, like, effectively, and how are they implementing it?
Yeah, I mean, they use, I can't remember exactly, they used a couple of tool suggestions in terms of, social media and being present on different platforms, but also kind of somewhat tailoring a message depending on what platform you're on, not just kind of pushing out the same content across all platforms. Now, obviously, it depends on what size you are as an e-com brand and your resources. Obviously, if you're, a one-man band and you've only got a certain amount of bandwidth, you're not going to be able to create, content for every single different platform. But I thought it was quite interesting that, they mentioned about being more omnipresent versus, focusing on one singular channel.
It makes sense, especially even in the personal brands. Like, when I think there's a couple of aspects to it. Like, you can post the same content across multiple platforms, but for example, like a business coach that Charles and I have both worked with, for example, he'll do a Facebook post and then he'll do the same text post on LinkedIn, but he'll just change the photo to like a quote for Instagram, and then he'll just post the text post in, the description. So there are ways to use a similar content, but slightly tailor it to the platform. But yeah, I would agree that you do need to create it for the platform. If you're posting one photo and then just being like, oh, I'm just going to post it across every social media platform, probably not going to have the same impact. And like you said, different content's working in different places. Obviously, if you're on TikTok, you need those short videos with a really strong introduction hook. Like, TikTok's a place where attention spans go to die. So if you're not grabbing attention in like the first 2 seconds, you may as well not be on TikTok. So you need a really strong intro. Instagram, still a place for both photos and videos and reels, obviously. Stories too. But I think you can get away with more imagery around quotes and inspirational quotes and that kind of stuff. And for reels on Instagram, honestly, a lot of people do copy straight over from TikTok what they've posted there. So that's one platform that you could double up on. Posting the TikToks that you've created to Instagram Reels specifically, for e-commerce too. And those videos are going to be so much more important. I'm thinking, this isn't an e-com guy, but he's called, I think it's Timothy the Lawnmower Guy or something. And it's just before and afters of him mowing lawn. He just uses the same videos on TikTok as Instagram, and then he puts his long form on Facebook, and he puts his long form on YouTube. So, yeah, you gotta know which platform you are working with, and kind of what posts are working well on each platform as well.
Mm. Actually, talking about TikTok were at the Expo. Although I was a bit disappointed. On the second day there was supposed to be a talk by someone from TikTok Shop, and I waited there,
They just
and it
didn't
got
show up.
cancelled. Yeah, it was
Oh, really?
cancelled. Yeah. I asked one of the organisers. I said, "This it says it's live. This is going on." No, it got cancelled. So, yeah, that was disappointing because actually I wanted to hear what they had to say. I did actually pick up this kind of leaflet here, which got some interesting stats in. It says, what's it? 67% of users agree TikTok helped them get ideas about brands and products they never had thought of before, which I thought was, I mean, bear in mind, this is TikTok
Yeah.
promoting
And
these quotes.
every
So,
second video that I used to, I haven't used TikTok in a long time. I probably need to jump back on more so for the TikTok shop aspect
yeah.
from a business perspective. But every second video that I was seeing on TikTok was Amazon best finds, and then they show like 20 different Amazon products. And you're right, like there were some cool products in there. It's like, oh God, that would be helpful. Maybe I will go buy that.
Yeah, it's kind of dangerous because you end up shopping for things that you probably don't really need. But
Next thing you know, you've got this tiny little. Oh, I did buy it. It was this little metal thing with like grater things on the side. You throw it in the orange and turn it, and then you can just drink straight out of the orange without a cup. It's still in the wardrobe. I have never used it. It looked. I was like, oh, that's cool. I'll just throw it in the orange and then have an orange juice straight out of the orange. But yeah, never used it.
yeah, it's always the way, isn't it? But yeah, it's interesting. I mean, what they say, 54% of TikTok users say they've bought something they saw on TikTok more than any other platform, and then the final one is 32x increase of daily users searching for goods from the shop tab in TikTok Shop. So yeah, some interesting kind of stats here on how the platform's growing. But yeah, it was
Yeah,
a
I
bit
mean,
a bit
yeah,
disappointed like that they did speak.
If you've got video content, you need to be on there. You should be doing video content for your products anyway. We spoke about this on another episode. Basically, if Amazon's doing it, they're doing it for a reason, and they're pushing so hard at the moment for video content through their Amazon influencer program. They just want people showing videos of the products that they're buying, and they're paying out decent commissions at the moment for those videos too. If someone clicks on the video and goes through and purchases the product on Amazon, that for me is just one of the biggest tells that you should be creating. It doesn't even have to be, you don't even have to speak on it. Just take a video going around your product and put it on the product where you have your product page. Put the video at the end of all your product images. So at least you've got some video content there too, especially when you know it's driving so many sales on the Amazon platform. Like all these people that are filming videos of the products, they're not doing it because they're not getting paid. They're doing it because they're making, a couple $1,000s a month from doing it. So if Amazon's willing to pay that out to get video content, you should be making video content of your own for your own products.
For sure. But yeah, apart from that, I mean, there was a big focus on AI as well. There was a presentation where someone was talking about the Chinese market and how live streaming is very big over there for selling products, and now their influencers are being replaced by AI influencers. So I think he said, "Oh, it's okay. They never have to sleep now." So which I thought was interesting. But yeah, lots of talk how you can integrate AI into your platform and make the experience more personalized in terms of questions. How much of I didn't see anything groundbreaking versus what I've already seen. I think we've seen a lot of integration with chatbots, on e-commerce stores already. But yeah, that seemed to be a common thread amongst many different talks that I listened to, is like, how can we utilize AI more effectively into the customer experience.
Yeah, that makes sense. It's something that I'm constantly monitoring too, and even I had a friend build me just I wouldn't call it a SaaS, but it was just like a little workflow that I needed for a particular thing that I was working on, and she is going deep into the AI space, learning and teaching herself how to code. And I just said to her, "Oh, can you build me something like this?" And within half an hour, she had sent it through. I'm like, are you joking? Like, how?"
I know.
Um, so yeah, it's coming. Well, it's not coming; it's here. So yeah, people, if you're spending hours a day doing mundane tasks, you need to speak to someone in the AI space and figure out how to simplify that process. And for SEO and e-commerce stores, for me at the moment, that's finding a suitable AI app that will do collection descriptions, because I have over 300 of them to do on one client. And let's just say I don't want to spend my afternoons writing 150 words for 300 collection pages. I would prefer to have AI write them, read over them, and edit what's already been done. But yeah,
Yeah.
so it's something that I'm looking into at the moment too, and hopefully
Well,
Charles will have videos
yeah.
on it soon, so I can just follow what he's used.
Well, like I said, I spoke to you before, Jimmy, haven't I? And for those watching and listening, I'm kind of working on with an AI engineer to see if we can create a kind of a small SaaS product that automates a lot of these kind of mundane tasks, like Jimmy said, these collection descriptions, which take a long time. I have someone, on my team that sits there and writes them out, and then she does use ChatGPT a little bit, but it still takes a lot of time to go through each one individually, as well as kind of making sure that you're including keywords within those collection descriptions. So we're kind of working on a way to see if we can automate a lot of that process. So hopefully, Jimmy, I'll have something for you to kind of test soon enough. And
Yeah, you know what they say too, because people hear this and they think, oh, they just want AI to run the whole thing. It's humans watching AI, and implementing it. It's not just straight AI content. As much as I would like it to be that, they do need to be read over it and checked. You don't want to be
yeah,
putting out junk, but just for this, basically the skeleton of it, you can use AI effectively and then just change up some words, or if it doesn't reflect what's in the collection appropriately, then you just edit kind of what they've got in there. But yeah, the struggle's always writing it from the start. You're like, where do I start with this? And then you have to go into research and then see what the competitors are doing and then make it better than that. To get started, think about it this way. You could spend all this time doing all that research and making every single one better than your competitors. You can do that anyway, but in the months it would take you to do that, you could have AI content in there that you've just briefly read over. You could have that sitting in there for 3 months, and then do what you were planning to do about making it better than everything else after you've kind of got additional data. So the AI is not necessarily to replace high quality work, it's to get something in place in the meantime.
yeah, for sure. And I have to say, I've had the same issues before with blog content. With clients that they, that we've created work even with human writers, but they want to make sure that everything is perfect. Like, they want to review everything, and they kind of slow the process up. And it's always best to get something out. Yes, it's got to be to a good standard, but equally, if you've got a bunch of content sitting in archive for 6 months, it's certainly not going to it's certainly not going to help you rank on Google, because you're not going to be able to get any feedback and data from Google. And yeah, I always say improve over time, rather than, it doesn't have to be 100% perfect. Get
And
something
the
out
thing
there.
is, perfect subjective too. It's never going to be perfect, and it's one of those things. you know, done is better than procrastination on something that's never going to be perfect.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's one of those things. The job's never done. Nothing's ever done on e-commerce. Like when I say done, like you don't finish something and then it's done forever. Especially with websites. This is what people say. Yeah, I just got my new website done, and then they won't change anything for like another 3 years until they do another massive rebuild. You need to be doing split tests on that weekly. Like,
Yeah.
your website's not done. You've just got a newer version of it. So, until the next newer version comes. So, yeah, it's kind of the mindset in e-com at the moment. Yeah, we'll get this done, and then once it's done, like it's never looked at again. Whereas the really good stores are constantly testing, trying different things on their homepage. I've seen the biggest e-commerce stores in Australia test a lot of different things on their homepage, which is why I like going to the big retailers when I'm looking to even do like kind of give input on a smaller site. It's like, okay, let's go to the big guys because they're spending hundreds of thousands of dollars on testing these things. So we can just take what they're testing and try it for ourselves and see what the results are. So, yeah, the job's never done. There's always another blog post to write. There's always a way to improve your ads. There's always a way to improve your website. There's always a way to improve the user experience. So yeah, it's the job's never done. It's just we've got it to a place where we're comfortable at the moment, and now we're looking at something else before we revisit it again.
Yeah. Should be a quote on a t-shirt, the job's never done. So just to remind people, come on here.
I don't want to put it next to my agency branding though. Be like, this agency, the job's never done.
Yeah, probably not the best. No, you're right. There needs to be a disclaimer there.
Yeah, but no, it's an interesting space. And actually, in terms of like always improving and monitoring things, I had a call today with a potential client that I'm hoping I get the opportunity to work with. I like their products, but I only reviewed the Google Ads account. And then we were reviewing their top products in the Google Ads account, and they both said to me, "Oh, our top selling product's not in there." Like, what do you mean? Like, this is all your products on Google Ads. So there's actually an issue with their top selling product going through to their Google feed on their website for Google Ads, which is crazy. Like, you want your number one product showing up on your Google Ads, but for whatever reason, I didn't actually have access to the Merchant Center. Otherwise, I would have probably been able to diagnose it pretty quickly what was going on. But yeah, it's a massive oversight to have your top selling product not showing in your Google Ads. And the way you can check that is going into your actual Shopify store and ranking your products by the highest selling products, and then comparing it to your highest selling products in your Google Ads account and seeing where the discrepancies are and why certain products aren't doing as well on Google as they are across the whole website as a whole. So yeah, it's definitely one thing. You need to check your Merchant Center regularly because there's products being disapproved constantly and other issues going on there. So yeah, make sure if you're listening to this, go and check your Google Merchant Center and see what's going on in there. Just have a browse, see what products are being disapproved and why, and make sure your top selling products are actually showing in your ads.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. I actually came across something on my client site today, which was I found out was installed from the ad agency and web developer, which was this top quality store badge, which I'd never actually seen on a site before. And I spoke to Jimmy about it. He's like, yeah, it's been around for a while. But I felt that was an interesting thing because it's like that little trust signal on a page. And apparently that's linked to, you know, your quality score within Google Merchant Center and how many products are approved and your shipping and delivery and returns. But you know, if I'd never seen that on any of their competitor sites. So the fact that they've got that and you can click on it and you can see the score along with their Google reviews is, a competitive advantage. So it's little things like that, which, Google Merchant Center seems to offer a lot of different features and benefits to the consumer.
Yeah, definitely. And it comes down to if you go into the Google Merchant Center, you can actually see how competitive you are via industry standards because Google will compare it based your website based on competitors in the same space, and they'll be comparing shipping times, price, a couple of other things in there too. I'd have to jump in there and have a look, but yeah, it's your return policies and things like that. All these things kind of add to that badge that just Charles was talking about. So if you haven't updated those for a while, again, go into Merchant Center and do that. I think it's the ecom space is frustrating sometimes because you know exactly what someone has to do and you give them all the information and 2 weeks later nothing's changed, like on their site or anything. But in saying that, I was talking to a mentor of mine today about this, and it's I forget the exact terminology he used, but he's like, you got to keep your promises to yourself, and people need to train that. And if you say you're going to do something, like the more times that you don't do it, it's just going to be a continuing trend throughout your life. And it made me think a bit because he's right. Like you really need to train that muscle, and the people that do really well say they're going to do something and go out and implement like a maniac. And it's not because they're smarter than someone else. It's not because a variety of other reasons. It's because they've done in a week what will take you 4 months. And then by the time they're a month in, what they've done in a month, it's going to take you, over a year. So the speed of execution is massive in the e-commerce space. And yeah, if you want to play in that space, you have to be a fast mover unless you've just got an amazing product that sells by itself and you don't have to add much more value to that. But I would argue you're leaving a lot of money on the table by not optimizing other things on your e-commerce site, even if you are doing extremely well.
Yeah, for sure. And there's some smart people in the e-com space, like real action takers. So the likelihood is, like I said, if you haven't got a really unique product which is in high demand, you're going to have to, focus on speed of execution and taking as much action as possible because others are.
Yeah, and even like sometimes, I've spoken to someone that's, sold an 8-figure e-commerce store, and he also coaches people in the space too. It's like, how are you doing this? He's like, oh yeah, we just train up a custom bot to do this, and then it punches out this, this, and this. I'm like, people that have the big stores operate on a different level compared to, the ones that I would typically work with, because I'm typically working with stores that are spending between $5,000 and $100,000 a month on ads. The ones that are doing 8 figures would probably be spending exponentially more than that. But yeah, my sweet spot for clients is probably, I can do a really good job for people spending in that 50K range. They're kind of the ones that I really like working with, just because you've got so much to test, so much budget, and yeah, there's a lot of moving parts at that kind of budget, and you can see some significant results. Funnily enough, the other ones I like working with are like the low 5K spends a month, because you can grow them really quickly, and it's really rewarding, and you build a really good relationship with those clients too, because you've taken them from the basement that they were in and, brought them up, and now they're starting to make some real traction in the e-commerce space as well.
Yeah, it's kind of like starting from, when you're starting from almost zero, you can get some really, quick results, can't you? It's similar with SEO. Brand new site, you can get a lot of traction more established sites, it takes more to move the needle in terms if they've already got a lot of traffic already. Organically, you need to do a lot more in order to really see a significant growth.
Yeah, and I think on saying on who the clients I like working with too, I think a lot of it comes down to the actual person that I'm working with, either the business owner or the marketing manager, like their personality, and the type of person they are. If they're growth mindseted, like I like working on that account. If they're just like, this is the budget, we just need to optimize it, those ones aren't as fun. They're not growing. I'm just there to do a job, make sure it's improving month on month, but there's no like exciting growth period. So it comes down to the actual business itself as well. And a lot of the clients that I work with, I'd be more than happy to catch up with in person, like 95% of them. I say 95% because there's always one or two that you're like, oh gosh, this guy just grinds my gears constantly. And yeah, sometimes you have to wear that. If it becomes too much, then you cut those clients loose. If it's taking up too much headspace, like I've got a book of clients, so if you're taking up way too much of my time, I owe it to my other clients that need me in there to do the job and give me the freedom to do that, to not be answering 20 emails a day on, something on their account. That's why I've got a Calendly link set up where they can book in and make a chat, and very, very rarely will they exploit that. I think one client has just exploited it to the max, and then I like to help them out as much as I can, but it gets to a point where it's like, I'm sorry, you're kind of requiring additional support than what we agreed on in the contract. I like to help you guys as much as possible, but now it's eating into other aspects for me, so I'm going to have to kind of finalize this relationship at the end of the month, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's all about setting boundaries. Certainly when you're working in the kind of client services space, for sure. Yeah, interesting. Jimmy, was there anything that you specifically wanted to touch upon?
We will have a look at some sites in a minute, and actually we might go on the shopping tab on Google and see if we can find some of those trust badges that you're mentioning as well, because I think you will find some, depending on what you're looking at. Maybe look at baby products like prams and things like that. A few of those have them, but also someone in the e-commerce marketing community asked us just to bring up their site today and have a quick look. So it's actually
Cool.
it's a small site. I've actually bought some products from there. They smell great. It's just a candle site. So I kind of want to go into that and be like, okay, this is a site. Now, who are the biggest players in the space? What are they doing differently? Can we implement some of those things onto this site that would help? So we can kind of do a breakdown like that tonight if you're keen, Charles.
Yeah, sounds good. All right. Let me share my screen.
Do the trust factor thing first. So maybe look up baby prams or something like that and see if the little icon that you were talking about shows up. Not on the website, but on the actual shopping ads itself. Should show up on some of those.
Okay. Baby prams. Let's go Australia. Okay. Let's click on this first one. Baby.
Hit the shopping tab. See, you might get more results. See if they come up there.
Should it be showing here, Jimmy?
Some of them will show. I'm just gonna, while you've got that up there, I'm just gonna check if the results are different in Australia. Because if they are, we might swap the. I feel like they come in waves sometimes too. Sometimes I see them all the time, and sometimes it takes a bit longer.
So,
I don't have any showing up right this second, but the reason I said baby stores is because my client messaged me about this maybe 12 months ago, and their competitors had this trust icon and they didn't. And the reason was because in the back end of the Google Merchant Center, they didn't have their returns policy filled out and their shipping times were slower than their competitors. So Google wasn't showing that. Um, but yeah, I'm looking at it too now, and they're not flagging for me at the moment. But people should keep an eye out for that. They will see them in the shopping tabs popping up.
Yeah,
And
I was seeing it actually on the website, on my client's website. So it was
did they have to?
in
Did they have to implement that though?
yes.
It mustn't be an automatic thing because they wouldn't be putting things on the actual website. I think there may be something in Merchant Center that you can download once you've got that as well. But you might
Yes.
ask them where they got it from. Because I don't deal much with the website stuff. It's just the ads. But yeah, it'd be interesting to see how they actually got that badge and where it came from.
Yes, it was in the I believe the quality like the quality section. I think they call it quality store within Google Merchant Center. I can't remember the exact section, but it's within Merchant Center, and then you get the instructions on how to install it onto the site. But this is actually a link that I found earlier, which shows you kind of how to add the quality score badge to the website. So I'll share this in the comments section of this YouTube video.
Yeah, cool.
But yeah, can't seem. I mean, it's typical, isn't it? When we go looking for it, they probably won't
Yeah,
find
it
one.
doesn't show up. Well, let's jump on candle stores. Maybe before we
Yeah.
jump on the actual candle store that we want to look at, let's have a look what's
Okay.
ranking organically at the top, especially in
Can
Malaysia.
yeah. Well, we can kind of let's go candle scented. Um, we'll do it in Australia to see. Like, I just type in Australia to try and get Australian search results here. Um, so this is the top one.
Yeah, let's have a look at the organic result and see what their homepage looks like.
Yeah. Okay. So candles. Not
Yeah, at least you know what they're selling.
yeah. Not overly descriptive, but probably could do with some work there.
The thing I noticed straight away is how many things they've got available on the top nav. Like what's
Yeah.
in kitchen? Are they candles for location? Like what in that top nav there's something called kitchen. What's in there? Or are
Yeah,
they
it looks
selling other stuff other than candles?
yeah, it looks
Yeah, it's like let's get out of this one and find
yeah.
something a store that's just selling only candles. Because this
Yeah,
looks
that's why,
like the
because it was
collection
just a
page for
yeah.
candles.
Let's go this one.
There you go, candles to go. That sound
Yeah.
candles to go.
Yeah.
Okay, they're
Okay.
selling a bit of everything. So they're selling the actual candle supplies as well and the candles. But like straight away I like the top nav. Because straight away I know that they sell candles and the actual supplies to make them. And then they've got their hero banner there. And what's just below it? Do they have any icon navs, Charles? You know I'm a sucker for those.
Yeah.
Well, they've
Well,
they've got the brand. They've got the brand. Oh, they do. So, yeah,
yeah.
they've done it in a bit of a different way, but like it makes it easier to navigate the site when you've got things like these. There's only 4 there, um, but yeah, we've spoken about this a lot. I'm a sucker for the icon navs under the hero image or under the hero banner. I don't know why. I use them a lot. So, yeah, if you want me to buy stuff on your site and you want me to be able to find it easy, make the icon navs as good as possible. Um, but yeah, let's have a look. Maybe scroll back up and go to the candles color, the candles page. Can you click
Yeah.
on actual candles or no?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So they do go scented candles. Um, and then what are they breaking it down by on the side on the filters? So brand. So they're not making their own. They're selling other people's candles.
Yeah.
If you're selling by brand, you're not making them yourself. What's below brand? Can you just collapse that brand menu and see what else is they're filtering by on that
Yeah, it
left hand
looks like
side?
just, well, product type candles. There's not. I mean, that's almost, yeah, irrelevant, really, isn't it? Why would you even have that if you've only got one type of product? Um,
I
yeah,
think
I
it's
would.
I think it's a Shopify backend. How they work is if there's any metafield data, it will display on these collection pages, and they've
Okay,
just gone one metafield. They've gone the actual candles for this particular collection page. But yeah, I agree.
gotcha. Size. There's a lot of sizes.
Yeah.
I wonder if
Then
they could display that in a better way, whether
yeah,
it's,
it's almost like you almost want a range if there's that
yeah,
many. It's because you're just scrolling. What's below size? Like what else do they have?
availability, in stock, out of
Oh,
stock.
okay, yeah.
Um, yeah, that certainly needs to be worked upon. Like I said, a range would be much better, I think. Otherwise, you spend half your
Yeah.
time scrolling down the page trying to find the size that you want.
Well, let's kind of let's compare it to the site from Lucy, who's in the group. It's called Candle Art Ra RA. So
Candle,
candleartra.com.au. So I think it's pronounced Candle Artra.
Candle Ultra. Okay, this one here, I assume.
Yeah.
Ah, yes. You did show me this one before, Jimmy. Yeah.
Yeah, and she has, like, honestly, we've given her little bits of feedback here and there, and she's implemented it quickly, which is why I'm always
That's great.
happy to kind of to give feedback because I know whatever we do, she'll be implementing it quickly. So the first thing here is like the logo's too big and it's in the middle. Like put the logo to the left and move the search bar in the middle of the website and make it, if possible, in your theme. So sometimes the what we're saying isn't available in your theme, but if you go back to candles to go, Charles, just compare the actual. She's got a search glass, a tiny little one on the left hand side. Compare it to candles to go. You've got them. They've made the logo smaller. It's in the left hand side, and you've got the search bar in the middle. That's gold standard, and that's what I find the easiest to navigate. So with her search function, it's tucked away in the left hand corner. Not a lot of people are going to see that,
Yeah.
and there's just a tiny little magnifying glass. So you really want the search bar open there. Um, but yeah, the logo's taking up too much room for me. You probably want the text on the top nav to be bigger as well.
Yeah, I agree.
They're quite small. What you don't need a homepage thing on the homepage nav either. So people, generally speaking, know if they want to go back to the homepage, they can click on the logo,
Yep.
and it will take them back there. The About Me, you really probably want to put that towards the end. I think the shop is the most important one. Um, and potentially you might actually add more shop categories in your top nav, depending on what type of collections you've got. You've got the fragrant list. I'm not sure whether that's kind of it's a footer link for me, unless what's in there, Charles? Can you have a look? Is it just a list of fragrances, or
Yeah.
yeah, it is. So yeah, that's a footer link for me. You really want products in your top nav,
Yep.
because one, if someone clicks on this fragrant list, they can't actually do anything else from this page. Like they can't click on Australian Bush and it will take them to the products that have that or anything. It's just a list. So if someone wants a fragrant list, maybe put it in the footer. The contact us, I'm always 50-50 on where to put it. If you don't want to be fielding a lot of phone calls and support questions, I usually bury it in the footer.
Yeah, yeah.
But like if client communication and people getting in contact with you easily is important to the business, then yeah, it should be in the top nav. So that's something to kind of consider as well. But yeah, just on the homepage, I would put what's in the shop tab. Actually, if you click on shop, like
Yeah, you've
what's
got. I'd probably be pulling one or two of these
me too.
best-selling collections onto the main navigation.
Me too, and
arguably.
I would be definitely putting bestsellers in there. So bestsellers is one that you should have in
Yeah.
there, and then I would have a look at the category of the bestseller and maybe putting that one in there too. Or um, you might not want to put products, and you might want to have like newly released products or limited edition candles because you're only doing a small run of them. Like, there's other things that you should be putting in that top nav other than the fragrance list. The frequently asked questions is typically a footer link as well. Um, what's her about me story like? Is it
Yeah. What one thing that I would suggest here, the about me, it feels like you always want to have the perception that you are potentially a bigger brand. So something like our story, rather
yeah,
than even if the
or
text is the
founder
same.
story we've seen a few
Yeah.
times recently, which we actually liked as well. Um, so I like that. Just
Yeah.
like when I see these kind of businesses and you know that they're homemade, you're like, cool, I want to support these businesses. Like, I like
Yeah. Yeah.
helping these kind of businesses. So I think the photo's great, Lucy, to get people through to have a look and support you as well.
I like that she's talking in first person as well. I was going through a new client site this week, and that was something that I suggested to her because it just builds a bit of a deeper, kind of connection with your potential customers, rather than talking in a different way.
I see she's got TikTok there, and I think I did check out her TikTok page recently, but I think she should put some of those videos on the homepage. I'm not sure if they were down lower. We didn't scroll down low enough, but if they're not, the social proof aspect on the homepage um, can be quite compelling.
Yeah,
And especially if you're making them yourself, people are going along that journey with you. Let's scroll down on the homepage, see what
I
else
mean,
is there.
yeah, I even think that she could actually have a kind of a hero image at the top, and maybe even have a video at the top
Mm,
with a headline and sub headline, and then underneath, then she's got shot by collection.
yep,
It's similar to, if you look at this, they've got a hero image with some information, and then they have their
yep,
icons or their images to
yeah,
show
good
the
call.
different collections.
And like, if Lucy's making them at home, then I want to see that, on the
Yeah,
on the homepage, like that.
yeah,
And I'm sure if she's doing well on TikTok, she'll know what content people like, so she can post that on the homepage through an app. I'm sure you can find an I don't know one off the top of my head other than Story, but it was kind of or Tolstoy. How do you say it? I can never say it, Charles. It's spelled, guys. If you're listening to this,
to,
I'm pretty sure it's spelled Tolstoy.
Tolstoy. Yeah,
Yeah, I can never say it, but that's. I think it's probably an app that's too expensive for like a home business. But you'll be able to find a user-generated content app and then just put up all your own videos. Um, but yeah, I don't think there's any videos at the very bottom, is there?
no.
Candle of the moment. I could never light that candle. Like, if I got a candle of that dog, there's no way I'm letting its head melt off in candle form. But yeah, I think when you're people want to support businesses like this, give them a reason to. Like, help them learn more about you on the homepage, show some videos of you making the candles on the homepage, invite them into your world a little bit, and yeah, if you do candles for events or different things like that, show the candles at the events. Yeah, there's a lot of different things you could use on the homepage because at the minute the homepage is large logo. Here's 3 collections. I like the images on the collections. You know exactly what you're going to get when you click on them. But yeah, the top nav needs some work, I think, to better guide people through to actual candles. I think if I'm buying a candle, like the last thing I'm thinking about is the fragrance. Like I'm looking at the type of candle that I want first. And I know
Yeah.
Lucy has some great kind of rainbow candles on here too. None of them are on the homepage, so she could potentially find some smaller product images and have like 2 rows and show a larger range of candles, just so people have to navigate the site less. I know we spoke about this in the last episode, Charles. Like, if you've got a good selling product, get me there in as minimal clicks as possible.
Yeah. 100%. 100%. Yeah, I think there's definitely, it's the homepage is a little bit sparse, isn't it? There needs to be more on here, more information about the brand itself. A little bit of blurb on about the background of the brand and how she kind of started. You can almost incorporate some of the about me copy
Yeah, in there.
onto the homepage as well.
Yeah. Let's
And
have a
like I
look
said,
at one of
videos
the.
as well.
Yeah, definitely videos. If she's got a TikTok, which it looks like she does, and I'm pretty sure she does because I think I looked at it when I first looked at her site. But yeah, put some videos on the homepage. Even find an app that does. If you're looking for an app for a video at the top, you want to find an app that will do like video hero images. Like that's kind of, or video hero banner. Like that's kind of what you'd search in the app library to kind of find something suitable to be able to do that. Um, if your theme doesn't support it, but yeah, what are the? We'll have a quick look at collection pages and product pages, and I think
Yeah.
that'll almost take us to the end. But
Okay, so this is one of the collection pages, fruit candles.
yeah, she's got a nice little blurb in there, which is always a good start. And when I
Yeah.
talked about earlier about collection page descriptions, that's exactly what they are. So
Yeah.
I have to do about 300 of those. So that's why I'm looking for AI to help me out. Um, but yeah, what else is in here? So she's got about 7 products in there, which is decent for like. I love that watermelon one. I nearly got that one. I saw it after I made my initial purchase. I'm like, damn, that one looks so cool. Um, but yeah, I probably. Well, she'd have to go based off her back end sales, but depending on what they are, is it sorted by bestsellers, Charles? Can you see what the filters got up the top?
Yeah,
Yeah,
they
so
got
so
yeah.
there you go. The one that I like the most is, according to this, the worst seller. But yeah, I mean it's a pretty stock standard
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with
collection
this.
page. It's a bit lackluster, I think, but with these kind of things, you got to remember kind of what the limitations of the theme that they're using are. And these type of businesses are like labor of love businesses usually. So I think at the collection page level, you do what you can to get the job done. But even now, still looking at that logo on the collection pages, it's too big. It just
Yeah.
you have to scroll too far down. If that logo was smaller and you had the search bar in the middle, um, yeah, you have to. I would almost, don't hate me for saying this, Lucy, but I would change the logo and make it more of a text-based logo and have it landscape so it doesn't take up as much room. Um,
Yeah, that's a good
and
point.
have maybe the candle element in like the L of the text logo. I think it'll almost make it look a bit more higher end as well, because this logo kind of looks like it was knocked up in like paint almost. And I hope that's not offensive, but it's kind of the vibe that I get. So yeah, you want to actually what was the other logo? I can't even remember the last logo we looked at. What was the go-to candles one, Charles? What was that one like?
Yeah, I mean it's not they've got text base. It's not what I would say is
Yeah, so they've got
the
text and
best.
then something on the end.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not the best, but see how it's landscape? It makes the top nav a lot smaller too. Like that's the goal, but you want it to look a bit better than that.
Yeah, for sure. And I think it's also just because the logo's centered in right in the center of the page rather to the left. Even if you just moved the logo to the left and made it a little bit smaller, it would it would make this top section smaller already. But I agree.
Yeah,
I think
because it's
maybe
hard to
some
look
work
at
on the
because
logo.
you've got like the add to cart and as far right as you can go, and then the search thing as far left as you can go, and then you've got the big
Yeah,
logo stuck right in the middle there.
yeah. I agree what you mentioned about, like I said, you almost miss this search bar here. Whereas if you compare it to this candles to go, very clear. People are actually going to want to use this search bar versus on this site. Yeah, you may miss it. Um,
What about let's have a look at the product page. Like let's go into that Raspberry. That's the one. I'm pretty sure that's the one I bought actually. I think
this one here.
that Raspberry
Okay.
Ripple, the very first one.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
We literally spoke about this on this episode. So she's got 4 really good photos. Add a video on the end. Like if the theme allows it, add some video content of you either making the candle or a video of like a 360 of the candle. Something video related there. It's gonna help.
yeah, it's a
Um,
good point.
she's got some great photos. Like you can look at it and be like, do I want to light that on fire or do I want to eat it?
Yeah.
Like it's a good looking candle, and we've lit ours here, and yeah, they smell fantastic. So I can vouch for the scent of the candle. Um, customer reviews. There aren't any in there yet, so maybe potentially look at what app you're using. A lot of my clients, Lucy, are using an app called Judge Me, and I think you can get a free version of it, and it integrates with the Shop app, so they can, if they buy from you, they can actually review through the Shop app, which is super easy, and then you can just start accumulating reviews. They may also like. Down the bottom. Those images are
Yeah.
huge, but you probably want the images smaller and then just more products there.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. The only one thing that I would add, I like to do on the e-commerce product pages, is add an FAQ section in a kind of Orcadian style drop down. Just allows you to get more content on the page if people are asking for particular questions on Google. It may not be relevant for these types of products, but it will certainly help the page rank higher up organically.
Yeah, I think this site for me is missing video content. Do you want to like? We'll probably wrap up the website review there, Charles. But do you want to click on her TikTok and just see kind of what
Yeah,
kind
sure.
of
Yeah.
video content she's got going there?
Oh,
Oh, there you go. There you go, Lucy. That link doesn't work, but I can see what it was trying to do. So,
let me see. I'm going to try and change. I just tried to remove the 404.
what's the
Uh,
actual? If you scroll over, oh, you opened it over the website. I was about to say, what's the actual link that it's trying to go to
the
on the
link
website?
is, yeah, it's tiktok.com/404 question mark from URL. So I've just tried to remove that and add the slash candle ultra, however you pronounce it.
Yeah, I'm getting the same thing on my end. I actually can't get to a TikTok page. Here it is. I found the page. It's TikTok/at candle ultra, Charles. So if you add that, it will come up. So
Gotcha.
yeah, just put the at symbol there. Yeah, that should work.
Cool.
So yeah, Lucy,
Yep.
fix your TikTok link. But yeah, like look there, her rainbow candle's got like 12K views. Like it's nowhere on the website.
Perfect.
Put it somewhere on
Yeah.
there. Like
Well, you could even use
oh look, and
an embed
literally
section.
the product that we were literally just looking at, Charles. The first video is like how she makes kind of the strawberries
That's
for that. Yeah. Put
yeah.
some there, Lucy. Make your website more interactive. Like one, people can't use that TikTok button to go to your TikTok page, so fix that. But then, yeah, no, I mean these videos would be just gold for your website, and a lot of
Yeah.
websites wish they had this kind of content. And you've got it; it's just not there. So, yeah, add some of these. I think it will help. Definitely, especially the completed ones. What's the dog one, Charles? Can you open that? I'm kind of curious now.
Okay. Yeah, she's. Yeah, I think there's
Oh, really?
probably
Yeah, cool.
a way that you can, an app where you can embed these TikTok videos directly. So you've
Yeah,
got,
definitely. Well,
a row of
Tolstoy
8.
Tolstoy
Yeah.
definitely does that, and
Yeah.
there should be some either free ones or extremely low price ones on. Someone will have made it on the Shopify marketplace, so yeah, check that out. But yeah, we've kind of given you probably a lot that you can work on, Lucy. So hopefully that helps you out. But yeah, as a past customer, we've got one of Lucy's candles here, and yeah, my wife it didn't last long because my wife lit it up as soon as we got home, and every night since, and yeah, I think we're almost left with just the glass container now, because yeah, but you walk downstairs, the smell hits you straight away, and it's a nice one too. It's like coming down to um oh, I love the smell of raspberries at the best of times, but yeah, no, it was good. So, yeah, Lucy, I hope that helps you out a bit, and Charles and I will wrap this up now. We're coming on the hour mark now, but yeah, if someone else wants us to just go and talk some ideas about their sites, jump in the group, e-commerce marketing community on Facebook, grow your Shopify sales, and yeah, we'd be happy to me and Charles like this, and I think next week I kind of want to go into some things that apps can do that maybe people weren't necessarily aware of. It made me think about it with that search bar and some cool things that we've been able to look at in the search and discovery app. It actually shows you what people are actually searching for on your website, which is cool because it's not something that shows up in Search Console. You can get it to do it on Google Analytics, but there's a bit of back-end coding stuff to make that show. But yeah, we'll discuss that next week and how you can use that to make your user experience on the site better.
Stuff. Cheers, guys. See you next time.
See you later.